So welcome everybody, my name is François Letarte and this is my channel JDR-D30, a channel about tabletop role-playing games. So yes, I want to talk to you about a game that I came to really love with practice, with experimentation, and it falls right into some place, a really my comfort zone when it comes to role-playing game. So, I'll talk to you about All for One Régime Diabolique. Yeah, that game has taken a place. I came to, learn it and understand all the layers that are into that game, and it's surprising layers, by the way, because that game at first doesn't seem that subtle. Okay, it doesn't seems to have all those subtlety, and I came to discover them, all sorts of switches and levers that could be used to simulate danger, simulate panache, simulate all those things. Yeah, and that game system, Ubiquity, has, the way I see it, it feels like when you roll the dice, you're kind of making an effort. It needs an effort from your part if you really want to be sure to succeed, because uh, succeeding into that game might be tricky. It's not as random as most of the other role-playing game. It can be planned, if you come up with a good plan and lots of dice to roll. Of course, this is okay, this is the obvious, but you need to know where those dice come from. Yeah, so let me talk to you a little bit about how I came to that game. At first, I was invited by Anthony, who really want to try this out. I knew about the game but didn't really have it, but I've bought myself a copy. I already had in mind, it was in my bucket list to play some Musketeers swashbuckling game. I already had some games in mind, but never had the group nor the time to get into it. So when I got this invitation, I jumped in the bandwagon. And yeah, it was with Ivan and Sébastien, not Inquisitor, which became throughout sessions. He was replaced by Eloy. At some point, Sébastien stopped, and Eloy came by the last couple of sessions. I had a blast with this game. First of all, yes, Musketeer was in my bucket list. So, I'm already sold just by the setting, okay? You want to invite me to a game, my favorite setting is, Musketeers. Yeah, I'm very fascinated by the novels and the movies, always has been. For a game system, I was quite pleased by what I was reading at first. It looked like the D6 system in so many aspects, and I'm a big fan of the D6 Star Wars system. So, I was feeling, I was into some known territory here. You pick a bunch of dice and you have to beat the difficulty. I'm quite at ease with that kind of games. So yeah, I was happy with that. The dice are, you're either roll a 0 or a 1. So usually another number is 0, even is a success, right? So that's basically how the game works. There's something exciting about that system, though it's purely mathematics. Okay, you tend to roll. Well, what is the number you will roll most obviously on any dice roll? It will be the average. Yeah, for some people this might seem a little boring, but it's not. I'll try to tell you my take on it, but let's say you have 4 dice to roll. So the number you're most supposed to get will be 2. You have 8 dice to roll, it will be 4, okay? And for, let's say you have 5 dice to roll, well, it will be 2.5. So You either get a 2 or a 3, depends. One chance out of 2 to get one of or the other number. Rolling dice, sometimes the outcome might be dramatic if you fail. And the difficulty number, it kinds of rise high. Let's say difficulty 4, it's pretty difficult to get. You need to have 8 dice into something, which is you're pretty good in what you're doing if you have 8 dice to roll. But if you have 8 dice and you want to roll your 4 success, of course it will be the average, but at the same time the dice could be real bitches. Yes, roll me. Yeah, you can have it. You can have your 4 success. It will be easy. Yeah, it's appealing. And you roll, and yeah, you will have a 4, but sometimes you roll higher, which you are very proud of. That's the effort part of the game, because you feel great if you go over the average with the minimum number of dice to get that average. But you can roll under, and you can roll a 0, no success at all. And no success, it's a critical failure, which is highly improbable, highly unthinkable, but it happens. So yeah, there's some sort of a stress just to start with, and that's how I kind of how I felt it while playing this. Yeah, first of all, so yeah, and what else? Well, there's that rule. Well, if you take a D20 words to name that, it's take 20, take 10. If you played D20 games, you know what I mean. So you can take the average if the game master allows it. The average. So you have 8 dice normally to roll. If the game master allows it, you have 4 success automatically. For some players, this might be boring. Where's the thrill? Well, there's no need to have a thrill in getting the average, because it's simply a certification that you are pretty good at what you're doing, and you can be proud. I can generate a 4 like that. My character Briscoe has 10 dice, as a 10 for seduction, so I can generate a 5 with an average, so every ladies in Paris could fall under my charm. Most of them, but nevertheless, say I'm pretty good. I'm at seduction, so that's I think that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to have that automatic success thing. You're supposed to be good, and you can show it. You can show your panache. I'm good. I'm taking the average, if the game master allows it. And how can I tell you that average is not boring? I remember one scene, Anthony trying to make magic. And usually magic, you don't take the average, but he cooked so well his subject, because he was trying to charm, kind of charm someone. He wanted a prisoner to talk. Okay, so yeah, so he cooked him so well. He had so much help from his fellow musketeers that the last roll, I said, well, take the average, and he thanked me for that. Because baking magic can really strain you a lot. Yeah, so that is something that I really love. When I run all for one, since I kind of now understand more the subtleties of the game, the way I see it, there are 4 axes, in my opinion, into that game. When you have your character, 4 axes that defines your character. The first one is, I need to see my barbecue, but the first one is your basic attributes, the 6 basic stats that we all know from many role-playing games. So yeah, they are there, and this defines the human you are. Usually you have between 2 and 4, so it defines the number of dices you need to roll if you need to roll something with the attributes. Though there are circumstances where you try to resist something, kind of the, well, let's say a saving throw, you roll kind of the double of that. Okay, but that's the human you are. What you have learned. So this is your skills. So their skills are, of course, pretty useful, which adds up with basic attributes. So that's where we see how good you are in doing stuff. Okay, that's pretty important. But if you want panache, well, just before that, there's another aspect. It's who you are in this world. What is your position, which could add up dices depending on the situation. You can have a rank in the musketeers, which could add up to your social situation. You can have a social rank simply. Are you a duke, a king? Okay, your wealth can be played into that. Your relation with a fencing salon, which could add up some advantages and some dices. So it's pretty important to have that, who you are in this life. So that is when I was talking about, where your dice comes from. It could come from there, and sometimes this is life-saving situations. But I think one of the central part of this day game, the part that will make you a real swashbuckling heroes, that will make you have panache, it's the style points. Basically, the most use of the style points will add up dices. For every style points that you spend, you can add a dice to your dice pool. It has other effects too. You can soak up damage and stuff like that. But style points is at the heart, I think, of the experience, okay? Because even if you are good in something, let's say you have 8 dice with your sword. Well, sometimes, the defense can be hard. People can defend themselves well. So just generating the average 4 dices might not be enough, okay? So you need to have panache, especially in combat, since if you want to damage your opponent, you need to roll more than its defense. Because if you roll the same number, you don't do it in damage. How does combat work, by the way? In Ubiquity, when you roll to hit your target, you add up the damage dice of your weapon, and it adds up to the number you need to hit. So the damage is already included, and you need to roll more. You need to roll more than the basic target, okay? So yeah, for every point that goes over, it's a 1 point of damage. And a standard character could only have, let's say, 4 body points, which, let's take an example. Take someone who can defend himself with 4 dice, so he might roll a 2. And you have that person who have 8 dice to roll for his attack, including his sword. Okay, he has 6 dice plus the damage of the weapon, that could be 2 more dice. He will hit the target and generate a 4. 2 hit points already. It's pretty greedy. Two swords hit and you're down. Maybe that person wants to hit more. That's where style points will come into action. He might spend 2 style points, potentially adding 1 more to the damage, so he will remove 3 hit points from his target. So it can go down pretty fast, pretty well. So yeah, I jumped from style points to combat, but yeah, to end up with style points, well, this is at the heart. You have to be generous when you're a game master. You have to give a lot of them. That's what I discovered throughout the sessions. The first few sessions, we weren't that generous, and we were having a hard time achieving some panache and trying to be. We were kind of being on the average, just trying to succeed in what we were trying and fighting, and we were taking a lot of damage. But the moment we were able to give more style points, the moment we realized we needed more style points, well, it kind of flew from there. Okay, we felt that, yeah, we are real musketeers, and it didn't remove the challenge. We did have some hard blunts in return. But yeah, and you have to give style points for every situation that are cool, you know. I remember Eloy with his character Armand falling down the stair because some croquant kicked him kicked him at the top of the stairs, and when he fell down, just for the flavor I describe, well, your hat flies away, and you know, just to describe how you know, how shaken he was from his fall into the stairs. And suddenly, I think it was Anthony, it was Martin who needed help, and Ahmad, I need to help my friend, and I take my hat. Just for that, I give him a style point. It was just cool. It was just swashbuckling musketeery. Okay, you need to give style point. A lot of style points. Yeah, you know, there's some sort of an effort, and when you succeed something in All for One, you're so proud. I remember scenes, intense scenes. I'll try to describe one or two. The first one, it was my character. I was challenged into a duel against a Cardinal's Guard over a lady. And you know, I knew what were the stats of that guard. We had that in our one note. Okay, so I knew that I was not that good. You know, my weapon is the words. I'm good at swashbuckling, but not at that guy. Well, on the Matt's side, I was losing. So I needed something else. I needed to work my way out with words. So with words, I was defending myself a lot, and I was trying to kind of reduce his capacity to fight me by using words, by taunting him. I was proposing stuff, trying to recall something that happened in the past that might put him in crazy situation, and with words I was beating him, and it helped a little bit. I just needed a small opening to win this duel that was to be set into with first blood. And by the way, I cheated that Cardinal's Guard, because he, on the first round, there's a party just but you know, on the first round I kind of lose because he hit me, but I kind of conned myself with my own clothing, trying to hide the blood so no one saw the blood. And you know, so I was able to, you know, draw some blood out of him after a couple of rounds of talking to him and defending myself, and it was pretty close. Okay, all the dice rolls were kind of tight, and yeah, there was tense. Something that I wouldn't see in many other role-playing games. You know, there are many good role-playing games, but this was particular to that game. I remember Anthony with Martin, the last game I ran for them, they had to teleport themselves to Notre-Dame de Paris fast because they discovered there was to be a complot, that something bad was going to happen. Someone has took the appearance of the Queen and was about to do something into the cathedral. So okay, so it was to do something at the cathedral. So we kind of studied the game, because doing magic in that, you do feel that you're doing real sorcery. You have to be careful. You have to think of your thing. You have to be strategic on what you expend to try to do the spell. And he had to teleport the real Queen with 2 musketeers, and he had to do 2 teleportation in points that he has visited yet. So it was hilarious, but every roll counted, and with style points, we were tight. Okay, all of those rolls, there were no rolls that got over the difficulty number. It was all tight, and we were sweating at every roll. It was tight, and knowing myself as a game master, I don't pull my punches. So if the complot, if what the bad thing was to happen, it would have happened. If he had failed one roll, well, France would have been in a great deal of trouble. But they arrived just in time. It was intense, And the way I see it when I play with those rules, I feel that I need to be intense, okay, with panache, but taking that a little seriously, like a musketeer will do. Okay, we know it. We're on the edge. Okay, it's either us or them. Okay, that will win something. So, but we have to be brave, and I feel that that game helps to do that. I'll finish up uh, with some numbers again. Okay, let's say I want to seduce the Queen Anne of Austria. That's just one of my goals. From Biriska, I told you that I had 10 dice in seduction, which is very high. I'm higher than Milady the Winter. Yes, from what it's the Milady has the stats in the book. So I'm a better seducer than Milady. Imagine that. I'm the best. So, making the queen fall in love with me would be a piece of cake. No, not really. It may seem so, because if I'm trying to seduce the human being, okay, one of the axes, the queen, let's say she has 3 in her wisdom, and trying to kind of save herself, well, try to resist my charm will be double the dice. She'll only have 6 dice against my 10 dice. Easy job. But she's not a simple human being. She's the Queen of France, and she knows who I am. So she's my sovereign. Okay, she's my queen. So the social rank will get all over that. I'm not just seducing the human being, I'm seducing the queen, and being the king or the queen of a country adds 10. I think it's kind of 10 dice. Let's say it's 10 dice. So she got up to 16 dice to resist. Let's say we were stranded in a boat in the middle of the ocean, in a pirate boat, and this is a foreign pirate boat, and they don't know anything about that queen, okay? And someone will try to seduce her. Probably she wouldn't be able to defend herself. She wouldn't have the confidence to say, "Hey, I'm the queen." Ha ha ha! No, you're not. Okay, no. But we know that it's the queen, so that's where social rank will embark. So that's the fun thing of this. The context will tell you if you could use it or not. So I have to work myself to her heart. Yeah, I have 2 styles points left. Okay, that raises me to 12 dice. I took the time to write a poem. It took all it was prepared in advance. I wanted to hit hard, and okay, let's say that poem allowed me to have 2 more dice. I'm only at 14 dices. It's not enough, because the average will be 7, and she will still be able to get an 8, unless we roll something else. But do we want to trust those big dice bitches? No. I need something else. I took my money to make the best hair dress and get nice clothing. I don't want to be in front of her as a musketeer, but as a noble gentleman, to show a side of me that she hasn't saw yet. Maybe 2 more dice. So we're 16 against 16. My name is at stake. Maybe my head, but my reputation for sure is at stake, because I only need to roll just 1 under, and it will fail. That's where I say that you need a lot of work if you want to succeed something. In other role-playing games, it's hard to simulate. Let's say we have a D20 type of game, and the queen has a plus, as her wisdom saving throw against the bard. Well, she will fall for the bard for sure, which is pretty cool for those games. But in All for One, you really feel that you're there and facing those types of challenge. So winning the queen's heart, it's not something done yet. That's what I had to say about this game. It was pretty long, but I need to Yeah, I needed to talk about this. I might have so many other things I could tell about this game, but yeah, that's what I had to say. That's why it's one of my favorite role-playing games. The game systems really build the tension for the danger, but at the same time you have the tools to have swashbuckling panache on over it. Yeah. François Letarte for his role-playing channel, and up to next time, I hope you have as much fun in your life as in your games. Goodbye.